Hi everyone, I'm Jerry Robinson, Paul Isley's co-founder at Rainforest, Flora. We've been together since 1976, building this nursery of tillandsias, bromeliads, and other exotics here in Torrance, California. Paul's main passion is tillandsias, so he's done a lot of videos on his tillandsia hybrids and the tillandsia species that he loves so much. My passion is using bromeliads in a home and garden to enhance your living spaces so that you can enjoy and live within your plants in your garden and in your environment at home. Today we're going to kind of look at our demo garden. We have a demonstration garden. It was planted about 1.5 years ago, so it's not completely new. It's grown in a bit, but it gives you an idea of what you can do in your home in Southern California with no special care with these drought-tolerant plants. Here we are at our demonstration garden in Torrance, California. You can see that we have a lot of integrated plants along with bromeliads. We have cycads, we have agaves, we have alawadias, plumerias, other succulents. Generally the theme of this garden is how you can do a drought-tolerant garden in your own backyard in Southern California. We've incorporated the bromeliads. You can see mostly in the landscape we use neurogelias as the main focal plants, along with gilbertias and some tillandsias as accent plants. Okay, now you can see with our demonstration garden that we do have a few trees that are planted to provide shade for the landscape. Now I know a lot of the tillandsias and a lot of the succulents will do well in full sun, but it's always better to have a little bit of shade, especially to protect the plants from the midday direct sun. One of my favorite sayings from Confucius is the best time to plant a tree was 50 years ago. The second best time is today. And so all of you that are planning to do a backyard landscape, you want to make sure you have some trees in place. And if you don't, you want to put some things in now so that you have the shade over the next few years, and it'll make growing your landscape a lot easier, more efficient, and a lot less failures. Now you can see we have a tree fern here in front. We have a tapioca tree towards the back, and the tapioca is one of my favorites because within 1 year or two from a seedling you can have a shade canopy plant. So that one grows fast, it volunteers, it sends little seeds out, and you'll have them growing everywhere before you know it, but it's a great fast growing plant. Another one is a tree fern. That's an inexpensive plant that you can get pretty much anywhere, any Home Depot. We have a few of them here at Rainforest also. But also we have tababuyas and coriaceas and other trees that do well for landscape shade. Now some of the trees that we have are deciduous, like the tapioca and the tababuyas. So what's kind of good about those is they'll provide shade during the summer when the sun is a lot stronger, and then in the winter when your light is diminished, then they lose their leaves and allow more light to come in for your landscape. So even though they're deciduous, they will work in the landscape. Now the tree fern is one that has shade year-round, as well as the cycads, and to a lesser degree plumerias. They're more deciduous. They don't add a lot of shade, but they are a really good accent to your landscape. Now we're going to look more specifically at certain species of neurogelia to kind of give you an idea of how they work in the landscape. The first one we're going to look at is Neurogelia margaret. It's a variegated offshoot of the Dr. Oster hybrid and also Royal Burgundy out of Florida. It's just that same plant that has a variegation in it. You can see with this one there's a clump now. Now the original mother plant is right here. Then you can see other pups that have grown off of there. Now the mother plant will die, like all bromeliads. They bloom, and then as they die, they send off offsets, and the offset will take over. So if you looked at this from a different angle, you would not even see the mother plant. But one of the ways that we recommend planting is to plant them in a pot in the ground rather than having to mulch or prepare the whole bed. You can imagine if you had to do this whole landscape in the right type of soil for each individual plant, it would go crazy and it'd be expensive to buy more and more soils, some for cacti, some for succulents, some for the bromeliads and so forth. But what I recommend, and I do in my yard, is I plant the pot. So what you would do is you take a 6 or 8 inch pot with your bromeliad soil, and you would dig a hole exact same size as that pot, maybe a couple inches deeper, so you can put a little bit of gravel down, and then you can put the plant in the pot on top of that, and then you can kind of mulch around it to cover the pot and let it grow. And the good thing is you don't use a lot of soil, and these plants do not require, they like to be root bound. They don't want a lot of freedom for their roots. They want to kind of compact. That way, once they root, they'll form a nice root ball and then grow a lot faster. But then when you go to trim the plant, like with this one, it's to the point now where you probably should cut the mother plant off and let more room for the baby. So by having a pot in your landscape, you can take it out, work on it without disturbing the roots, then put it back in your landscape, and you'll be fine. Okay, as we pan through some of the larger Neurogelias, the Neurogelia Rainforest Red, which you just saw, and then we come over to the Cruenta. Those are both excellent landscape plants. They fill up a lot of space. They can take a lot of light. Cruenta especially is a fast growing. You can see the really pretty red halo around the lime green foliage that really stands out. That's one that's really popular now in the landscape. So the Neurogelias are probably of all the bromeliads for landscape, and they're my favorite. Another genus within the bromeliad family that's really good in the landscape is Bilbergia. You can see Bilbergia Hallelujah. It's one that takes a lot of light. You get the more light, the more white you get and less purple. The more shade, then the purple becomes a little bit darker and not as pronounced. White mottling, lots of puffs. It's great for around ponds. You can see we have the Bilbergia Hallelujah here, then we have the Aminus viridis over here in the waterscape, and those all don't, just very minimal amount of soil within the rocks, and they'll grow fine. Otherwise, around the landscape, you can see we have the cycads, we have some gingers, we have plumerias, we have iris. You know, there's just so many plants. You know, I'm a bromeliad guy by profession, but I appreciate all other plants too. You can't be a one-dimensional guy. You can't be all orchids. You can't be all bromeliads. You can't be all cycads. And speaking of cycads, you can see some of the really nice cycads. The good thing about cycads is they're rare and they're beautiful. They don't grow very fast, so that you don't have to keep moving them around. They make really nice focal points in your landscape. This is Leimanii, Encephalotis leimanii, one of the blue ones. This one over here is Cycas thorsii. It's one that likes some shade from the full sun, but it's very lush. It's very tropical looking. It adds a really nice effect. It's closely related to Cycas revoluta, which we have over here, and the Cycas revoluta is one that I'm sure you see everywhere, but to me common is, you know, I don't want to have everything rare in my landscape. I like things that are common too and appreciate for what they are as a plant. We also, besides the cycads, we have a few Volcarnias, something really unusual we have in the background. You can see that Alawadia. It's really unusual. And what else do we have here? We have some agaves that are really good, and other succulents. Once you have your shade in place, once you have your cycads in place, once you have your rockscape in place, once you have all the major components of your landscape in place, then you can start putting a few tillandsias in as kind of accent plants. They're not going to overwhelm your landscape by any means, but they act at nice little interest points. You can see here on these volcanic rocks we have, looks like tillandsia concolor and some tenuifolia, and some different Tillandsias on the rocks. Then you come up into the tree fern we have here, and you can see we have Tillandsia Ranthos miniata, maybe even some mini-me in there, and some different, looks like Cetacea, or doing some kind of, I'm not sure, I'm not the Tillandsia expert, so I'll have to pass on some of these off the top of my head, but you can see the Tillandsia is more so than, say, the Neos. They like a little more shade. They don't want to be stressed. The Neos a lot of times get their color because they're stressed, whereas if you put them in more shade, this Neos I'm talking about, if you put the Neos in more shade, they'll lose a lot of their color, and you give them more light, they'll stress out and give more color. So it's kind of a happy medium in there where you can get good color without stressing them too much. Here we are with an overall view of the landscape, and you can see that the major focal point of this is our water feature. And I can't imagine having my backyard without my water feature. I have a waterfall and a little bit of stream and a second waterfall into a koi pond. But you can see, you can have koi, you can have turtles, you can have all your plants incorporated into your landscape. The water will be running 24/7 if you have fish or turtles in there. They need the aeration in the water, and it's not really that expensive. They have new pumps now that'll adjust at night so that it's hardly any flow at all to save electricity during the night, and then come on during the day when you want more water action. And the sound is soothing. If you ever turn off your pump to when you go to clean the filters or do maintenance, you'll notice right away, your neighbors will wonder what's going on because they don't hear the sound. The sound is integral in to have this whole theme in your backyard where you can sit back and enjoy your tropical landscape. Now, we do have people we work with that do installations in Southern California. The one we have here is using all natural rocks, where you can go up and pick out pallets of rocks and have them delivered to your house, and then somebody can install them for you. We also, on larger landscapes, do fake rocks, but that's something that if you have like an acre or so to do, then you might want to do the fake rock. But I prefer for the general homeowners just to do a small rockscape and waterfall and then plant around it. But you want to get your rockscape in early and then your shade in there, and then start adding more of your landscape plants after that. Look how great all these plant components come together to form that tropical, drought-tolerant landscape. Now, one of the things we forgot to mention before is palms, and most of you people are really probably have a lot of palms in your backyard. So you have king palms, queen palms, Pomidorias. You have all different types of palms that do well. They grow fast. They add to that tropical look. Also, you can see where we have a ground cover that we use. It's called Diamundia, and it's one that grows in really well between all the plants. You don't have to trim it very often, maybe once every couple months. It doesn't have to be cut like a lawn or grass. It's more drought tolerant. It doesn't take a lot of water. It holds some moisture under its matrix that holds the moisture in, and it's very easy to grow in Southern California. All these are available, all these plants that we've talked about are available in our Torrance location in Southern California. The cycads, the bromeliads, the succulents, plumerias, some palms, and on some of the bromeliads we ship all over the world because they don't require soil, but some of the larger specimen landscape plants are only available if you come to the Torrance location. Now, we're here in Southern California, 15 minutes from downtown Los Angeles, 15 minutes from the airport, Los Angeles International Airport. All these plants are available here. We're here 7 days a week, generally 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturday 10 to 5, Sunday 11 to 4. All these plants and many more are available in Torrance for you to pick up. Thank you for watching today. I really enjoyed sharing with you my passion of using bromeliads and other plants in a tropical landscape. Tune in the next few weeks or maybe even a month. We'll do We'll show you some installations and things of how the overall integration of all these different plants work around the house. And I'll show you an actual landscape that we've helped design and install. And we are available here to give you ideas. We're not professional landscape designers or architects, but we've been doing this for almost 40 years. So, you know, it's something that you want to design yourself. I didn't turn my designs over to a landscape designer. I use the individual homeowner to kind of sit and slowly develop their own use of the plants, their own water feature, things that, you know, that are incorporated to make this a really overall theme that, you know, will make you want to stay at home and enjoy your backyard and not travel to Mexico or Hawaii, where you can have all this in your backyard and barbecue and enjoy your family and not have to leave your Southern California location. So tune in the next few weeks and we'll expand on this, give you some more information, and if you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of us. Thank you.
Website.
And we're at Rainforest Flora, www.rainforestflora.com, and you can write for information at info@rainforestflora.com.